What's up YouTube, this is Joe from Zephyr Digimon, and I'm going to bring to you guys the deck that I took to the Glasgow Regionals, and that is Galaxy Toolbox. So, a brief rundown on what I faced and other events that I went to and what deck I took for those, and then we will, and like my brief explanation on why I picked Galaxy, and why I went with Galaxy and that kind of thing, and then we'll get to the deck profile. So the event was great, absolutely fantastic. Had a huge, great time, as I always tend to do. Me and the guys at Dark Sphere, we did like a lot of us did absolutely fantastically well. So I went 47th place out of 190 competitors, which in my personal opinion I think is a great achievement for me. So I went 8 rounds of Swiss for day 1, and then Top Cup went into day 2. So I went 5-3 in the day 1 event. So my matchups were round 1 was to Ghostmon, Necromon. That game was great, beat that, won that match. Round 2 I went off against I believe it was Gallantmon. Unfortunately I did lose that one. The game round 3 I faced Axel, which was a very fun match. Always love to see that, and like things like Necromon doing well. I also faced off against 2 Royal Knight players, beat both of those matches. I faced off against oh god, what else did I face off against? Purple Hybrid. Unfortunately I did lose that one. There's a bricking game 2, unfortunately. Then I beat Dynamon in the final round, and I lost to a Red Purple Imperial. Unfortunately, I believe I unfortunately did a misplay in the last round, which is a bit unfortunate. But we do what we do. So the deck performed really well. So I was originally going to be taking Gallantmon to this event, because I did a lot of playtesting with Gallantmon. I haven't taken Gallantmon to any big events, and with the new support, I really thought, like, let's bring my boy to a big event. A few of my friends took Gallantmon to other events beforehand, and one of them was like, Gallantmon's not really performing very great for him. He thinks I should try something new. He thinks I should play Galaxy, as Galaxy topped a big recent event in Japan. So took a look at this. I have Galaxy experience in the past, as you can see here on the channel. I've taken it to a few events. So he told me to give it a go. So I gave it a go at locals. I gave it a go in testing, and the deck performs superbly well. There was some changes I made, which we will see in the profile, to the winning list in, I believe, Japan. But overall, the deck performed exactly as I kind of like intended it to. But mostly some of the matches I lost was due to unfortunate bricks, or I just did a misplay which cost me the whole match. Yes, so I took this to day 1, and then day 2 in the 3v3 events, I took Sakuyamon, which you're going to be seeing later on here on the channel, later in the week. As that deck performed really well. I really enjoy Sakuyamon, but yeah, we'll go into that when I do that video. So before I get into the profile itself, if you enjoy, give us a like and subscribe down below. Ding that notification bell, because obviously if you enjoy posting content here on YouTube, you don't want to miss out on that content, and that notification bell helps prevent that. And we appreciate everything that you guys have done for us and support here on the channel. Really appreciate it so much. And so with all that, let's get into the profile. So the majority of the structure is from the winning list in Japan. I'm going to go through it quite quickly, because either A, you guys have seen the main bulk of the Galaxy Toolbox already, and I'll go through the big changes as to like previous builds, like new additions and changes I personally made for the list. So we got the 4 Sunmon for the egg. We got the 4 copies of Lunamon, 4 copies of Coronamon, and I got 2 copies of Solarmon. For the champs, we got 4 copies of Legismon, 4 copies of Fiaramon, 4 copies of Galgamon. For the ultimates, we got 4 copies of Crestmon, 1 copy of Thermon, 2 copies of Mega Digimon X Antibody, and 1 copy of the Honkumon. Move this up a bit. Make space for old measures and everything. Clearly, this is a top tier YouTubing content here. There we go. I think that's good. Yep, that's perfect. I think. No, it's not. Not perfect at all. There we go. So for the megas, we got 3 copies of Hexablaumon, 2 copies of Invisimon, 1 copy of the Mirage Galgamon, and 1 copy of Apollomon, and 1 copy of Galacmon X Antibody. And then for the level 7s, we got 1 copy of Omnimon X, 1 copy of Imperial, and then 1 copy of Gabumon Bond of Friendship. Ace, 3 copies of the Ko and Sayo. And for the options, we got 4 copies of Wisteria Memboost and 2 copies of Baloo Scramble. So, as you can pretty much see, like the bulk of the engine is what it's always been currently, since Galaxy Toolbox took its stage in the game. So you got everything at 4 of copies of the most important bits here. Your toolbox here on the top end primarily evolves on blue, as you get the most value from the blue color in the game. You got your strong level 7s here that can either help turn the tides in certain matchups or get you that finishing blow. And then you got the new additions of the Wisteria Memboost and Blue Scrambles, allowing you to reduce your evolution cost, recover your combo pieces if your stack gets outed, as well as search your combo pieces that you need in the deck. So the main changes from the winning list from Japan is that I replaced the Floodgate that they used. The winning list played Gotsumon for the memory blocking shenanigans. I went for the Solar one, as for my research, from what I could see, from what I thought of, as well as what my mates faced in other regional events, Royal Knights is the deck to beat currently right now, as of recording this. Royal Knights just got amazing support. The power and scale of that deck is just off the charts in some cases, and so I went for the Solar one for the can't reduce play cost floodgating ability. Ultimately, I went for this over the can't play via effects, as the only thing that is stopping you is the option card purge and the Omnimon game. Now, you could make argument that, well, those are the most important bits. But to me, Solarmon not being able to reduce play costs is essentially stopping Yggdrasil from performing the way that it wants to. And the initial play of the deck, reducing your costs, getting you multiple Royal Knights out, to me, that is the most threatening part of the deck. And that's why I wanted a Floodgate. Yes, they can purge out into something from the sources and get rid of everything, your Solarmon. But A, I've now forced them to use a purge early that they didn't really probably want to. And B, this deck, with the inclusion of Invisimon, which I'll get to later, has such easy removal of Royal Knights that they purge out, kill your Solarmon, comes to your turn, you just climb up your stack, get rid of that Royal Knight. You've now wasted the purge, and you've made them lose a source from Yggdrasil, which really sets them back further, and just, you're just going at your regular pace. Combination of Solarmon and Invisimon just helped me in both my Royal Knight matchups. Honestly, that was, funny enough, the most easiest matchup I had the whole event. And like throughout the rest of the day, I was just like, oh, please be a Royal Knights. Like I had such an easy streak going from that. My confidence against that matchup was like kind of like through the roof. Then other new additions that that I put in that they didn't, I swapped out one of the current styles for Gabubon Bond. One of the things that I felt like I was missing in the deck that I was playing is like an actual good retaliation ace play, and more ways to just remove low sources from the field and get more aggressive swings at my opponent's security. In testing, I just did not feel like you needed 4 current sire, and I'm probably still on that fact. Current Sire, absolutely amazing card. Like, probably like still one of like the best cards in the deck, but the deck can function perfectly without it. Your rookies reducing your cost, letting you do the regression. Your summon letting you evolve for cheaper, and now your receiving members actually have a good consistency members in the deck, allowing you to recur memory during your combo climbs that you might as well needed through via the current Sire. Current state is still very important, which I still think 3 copies is mandatory. You'll probably see it via some security checks. You'll probably have those moments where, like, you turn 1, you pop a rookie in the back, and then you just current side to pass turn, and now you have the current side set up. That change didn't really felt any negative to me. In fact, Gobblebond helped me in some of the Royal Knight matchups, as well as some other matchups, allowing me to remove my opponent's Digimon from the field because I have like huge stacks and they can just go from there. And doing multiple checks at my opponent's security really did secure me some games there. As well as being just a free cost Evo level 7, meaning that I could just cheaply evolve into this without the threat of passing turn or needing to pop anything else to get that memory back. So Gababon Ace was a great addition. I'm really glad I did have it in the deck. Invisimon. Actually, no, before we get to Invisimon, the other change I made to the deck was that the winning list played 2 reds and only 3 blues. So 2 Flaremons and 3 Crestmons. In testing, I felt like I was bricking so badly on the red, in the sense that if you get to the red, all of these are locked out from you. The only thing you can actually evolve into is these 2. And we'll get to Gallantmon later on. But yeah, so I really felt like locking yourself into only reds in this deck is, you know, quite negative, as your top end is primarily blue only. So I bumped those down and bumped up the crest, and like I really loved that change. Like, being able to see this consistently at 4 means I'm consistently seeing 7 level blues, allowing me to go into all of my top ends freely without any negatives. There was still a time I only saw this and I didn't see a blue, so I was kind of like locked out, but you know, it's luck. If I could play 5 of this, I'd play 5 of this. But you need the regression, you need the trait, so hopefully we'll get another one that's maybe like blue red in the future for this deck, if this deck ever gets some support. But yeah, so this is what we kind of like are stuck with at the moment, and I really need a 4th participant of Crestmon. Invisimon, so going into the actual new additions to the deck from my previous lists, Invisimon is absolutely a phenomenal card. Like, Invisimon's like MVP in like most of my end matchups. Having in this deck access to Digivolve removal and the ability to see what your opponent has next in security really allows you to secure matchups and board presence that you didn't otherwise have to. Great ways to remove sticky stacks, and as well as allowing you to be aggressive with your Hexaflammons, your Apollos, even your lower end, allowing you to be a bit more aggressive because you know exactly what's coming. Is just fantastic. But the ability that it being able to toss itself into security and pop itself back at the end of their turn, again in the Royal Knight matchup, is again, as I said, that's kind of like the deck to beat right now. Really just accelerates your board secures. They can't just freely purge out or play a Royal Knight thinking that it's just going to go into the Yggdrasil later, because at the end of the turn this is going to pop out. They have no evolution sources at all, so you nuke that thing into the trash, and then you flip the opponent's next security face up, and then you're like, okay, cool, I know exactly what's coming now. So yeah, Invisimon, absolutely an amazing card. I really want to test it out in other decks, and just like play with it a bit more, because I think the gimmick is really funny, being able to just like flip security cards and hide in your security. But again, like it just really helps in certain matchups against certain decks, and I just really enjoy it. The fact it also costs 3 to evolve is like bonkers. Galantmon X, unfortunately, he as a Galantmon stand and a Guilmon stand, it's unfortunate to say he was like the least performing card in this extra deck, in this top end. Ultimately, I would probably have just swapped it for a third Invisi, so I just get to see Invisi a bit more, or just swap it for maybe a Dianamon, so I have like multiple, or still have like ways to evolve on the fire. But yeah, no, unfortunately, Galantmon just wasn't performing as well as I hoped. The main issue is that I feel like if you're playing Galantmon in this deck, you kind of like need to focus a little bit more on it. So if I were to like really wanted to make Galantmon X work, I'd probably just take out either Mirage or drop Hex to 2, play 2 of this, and find a way to fit X Antibody in the deck. By doing that, Galantmon gets its full value, allowing you to remove more oppressive threats, because the fact they can only remove 10k if you don't have X Antibody Galantmon in its source really means that you're only popping 5s and belows. Like, you're not actually popping the level 6s, which you kind of want in a card like this. So having the ability to put the X Antibody, get this guy's optimal value, reduce, increase, delete, means you're removing sticky threats, and by having X Antibody, you're actually helping Invisimon as well, because then when Invisimon comes out your security, you can just on your turn tuck X Antibody underneath, do the swing. You're now facing another face-up card, and Invisimon pops back into the security, and then you've just got a threat for the next turn on your opponent's end phase. So that's probably a change that I might do, which is just drop one of these, up this, and find a way to put X Antibody in the deck. And then yeah, that's probably like a change I might make. If I wanted to make Galantmon X a bit more of a oppressive card in this deck. Mega Digimon X is, at first I was like a head scratch. I was just like, why are they playing this? It's just an X Antibody, you haven't got X Antibody in the deck. Like, what's the value? As I was playing, like, the ability to remove level 4s is actually quite handy, because again, you know, I feel like I'm like just repeating the same thing over and over again. In the Royal Knight matchup, being able to go into this just bottom deck one of the Mechamons means that they're not being able to pop the Cool Boy if you're going through the security to go into Omnimon X, but you're also preventing them from getting more sources in the Yggdrasil, because you can't, you're not deleting them, so they're not going to the Yggdrasil stack, or they're not popping a Royal Knight in terms of the older mecha. And so yeah, so being able to remove those little level 4s from that match was really beneficial. Only costs 3 to evolve. They're not being able to be blocked or have your attack redirected, means in those big block of matchups, you know, you're still being able to do your multiple checks or triggering the Invisi and that kind of thing. So Mega Digimon was an absolutely phenomenal card. Really enjoyed it. And Omnimon X, so like, what do I have to explain about Omnimon X? Like, Omnimon X is absolutely great. It was a great blitz for game in one of my matches. I was able to scramble into a whole new Mirage stack from an empty field. My being tossing the last security card into the hand, my opponent was like, oh great, you know, you can't game me because you don't have Rush. I was like, yeah, he doesn't have Rush until I do this, and I just slap the Omnimon X on top of it, cleared off one of the aces, pulled memory, and then just, you know, they scooped, but they knew exactly what's going to happen. I was going to swing for the game with Rush at the end of the turn. So Omnimon X is fantastic in combination with Blue Scramble when you get to do your recovery. Sorry, got a little bit of a cold going on. But yeah, Omnimon X, absolutely great addition. And what do I have to say about these cards? These cards really did up the consistency of the deck. I thanked my mate Ben, who got me to play this again, because I was like, I haven't really played Galaxy since these cards came out, so I never really had like the pleasure of learning and seeing how well these cards perform in this deck. The original Japanese had list had 3 of this and 1 training, blue training, and I didn't really see the benefit of blue training in testing, because your main team is red. So it's like I didn't really see the argument, like, or the kind of like excuses, like, oh, the training is to see your teammate, obviously, you know, having that extra search ability. Like, the only thing training was getting is probably like the rest of these cards, but I never really felt like I was like missing these when doing a boost search. If anything, like the boost search was to just see like all of this. This just helps this play a little bit easier, but like primarily you just need to see all of these. Like blue boost was absolutely amazing. Like Wisteria is such a good addition to the deck, but the blue scramble, being able to recur you back one of your combo pieces, spawn out the Lana and just go off all over again. Absolutely phenomenal card. Like, really, really love these in the deck. But yeah, that's my 47th place regionals deck profile for Galaxy Toolbox. Overall, again, really love this deck. It's such a fun deck to play. I love having toolboxy decks in the Digimon card game because you really get to be creative with what you can do with a deck, and it's kind of like the emphasis of freedom of Digivolution that the Digimon franchise has over something like Pokemon, for example. Nothing in this game, in the franchise, is linear. The card game really does emphasize that factoid of the Digimon card game. So having a toolboxy deck like Galaxy to go into like all these amazing like mega Digimon in the game, it's just something I really enjoy playing. So if you haven't got if you got the cards but you haven't played it, put something together. The engine itself is very, very cheap. Like, it's all just commons and rares. So like this is your engine here. I'd probably argue that this is now really part of the engine if you have them. But yeah, so like everything here is what you just need to play this engine and just go off, and then like just one of the Galaxy Megas is just kind of like what you need. Give it a go, find your top end that you like. Again, I've made just traditional Mirage Hex lists. I've made a Gamamon list using this engine. It's so super fun. If you want to see that, post that down below. I'm more than happy to show you the Gamamon list. Maybe I'll wait till BT21 and actually profile that with the new megas and everything. But yeah, so really enjoy it. Give it a go. So fun. Like, you're gonna have a great time. You're gonna feel like you're cheating the game sometimes, and like your opponent's going, oh my god, this again. But like you're just gonna have a laugh at the end of it. But yes, as always, thanks everyone. Like, comment, and subscribe. Till next time, as always, stay safe and of course, happy dueling.